Alrighty, I have a very nice expensive cassette deck here, and my cord got cut here on the outside. And as you can see, it has no overcurrent protection in it from the factory, so we're going to put a new cord on and put in a line fuse. So first we'll start with getting our cord stripped here. Nope, so we're going to strip it down the side like this, and be careful not to cut into our conductors here, like I did right here. So I'm going to cut it back where I damaged the insulation. Okay, so I'll put this one about right here. And we'll get our brown wire out. Okay, there we go. Cut them off even here. So we're going to put our cord back into here. So our fuse is going to go on our back panel up here, so we'll put our brown on the left. And we'll just put it in. I want this straightened back up here. Okay, it's in the way we want it. So we'll go get our wire strippers and check something. Okay, we'll turn on our soldering iron. Clip off our zip tie here. Cut our wires so it's easy to take them off the posts. make sure brown and blue are not normal colors for line cords. Black and white is the standard color. So we're going to make sure the brown, which one is the live and which one is the neutral. So we're going to take our meter here. We'll put it down here on the audio signal. It works. So we'll verify that the blue is the neutral side. Okay, the blue is the neutral, so we're going to put it where the white wire is. So we'll take, we have some keister solder here. And I'll bring the camera down close so you can see the desoldering and the resoldering. This is keister 4060 solder. We'll tin our iron and we'll heat the terminal. Take it off like that. So, it's marked neutral. Be careful not to burn the plastic. So I'll just heat our terminal here. Take it off. We'll use our solder pump to remove the excess solder here. Okay, so we'll strip this blue wire a little longer here. And we'll wrap it where it says white because it's neutral. So we'll get all our strands out of here. We'll get it wrapped around here. I'll use these pliers here to get it a nice even wrap all the way around here. Okay, now we can resolder this. We'll clean our tip. We'll tin our iron. Heat the terminal on our solder. There, we got a real nice solder flow there. So this is our fuse block we're going to be putting in here. So we're going to solder it onto here. So we'll strip this just a little longer here. Slide this up just a bit. We'll get our strands together here. Might as well do it like this. it like this. I'll tip it up like this. Okay, I might just strip this a little longer. Okay, we'll twist our strands together. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. I'll go into my hole in the back here. Come up and around like this. I'll wrap some. I'll make sure I have a nice closed loop here. Make sure all my strands are all up out of the way here like this. Okay, we'll tin our iron. And we'll solder. I want it to be straight. I could heat it from the top a little bit here. I'll come down here to a little more up in here. There we go. We have a nice solder joint. Okay, so we have an orange wire we got to put in here. So we'll strip it. Get our strands together here. We'll take it out of our jig here. Look at our other side. Well, we could touch that up just a little bit there. See how it didn't quite fill? Get it nice, keep it nice and straight like that. So now we have a nice even solder joint on this side, and it's nice and even on this side. But you know what, we could add, it didn't quite fill over here, so we do have some flux. But we'll solder our other wire first. We'll come in through our cut off our extra strands here. This cutter's not quite as perfectly even as the others, but we're not getting upset. We'll just go grab our other one. Okay, so I'm going to cut it so it's all, we got our better cutters. Okay, so we'll fold them over here, and we'll set it in our thing in here we're soldering. I'm going to have to turn this so I can get to it easier to solder it. In my iron. Heat underneath here. I'll heat from the top a little bit here. Come over here, get on the box side. Okay, we'll let that cool a bit there. We have a nice full joint on this side. We'll flip it over. Okay, it didn't quite perfectly flow on both of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some, this is electronic solder type of flux here. So we're going to open this up. I put tape on it to keep the I'll just use some piece of this wire here. I'll take some flux. I'll put some right here. Clean my iron, put some solder on my tip. And this will help it give it a nice flow on this side here. So we have a nice clean full solder joint over here on this side. There we go. We have a nice clean solder joint here. Let's let that cool a bit. We got a nice solder joint there. Look at our other side. We have a nice clean solder joint over here. Here we got a good solder joint here. We'll look over here, it's not quite full, so we'll take and we'll get a little more flux. And we'll fill this side up and get the solder to be filling up the solder joint. There we go, we got a nice, I'm gonna put a little more right over here. There, we have a nice even solder joint here. And then we'll look over on this side, and our solder joint stayed nice and clean. So we're gonna strip, and we're gonna see how much we're going to need to go over to here. So I'm going to set this on here just to see how much wire we're going to have to cut. So the amount right here, so we'll cut it about right here. I'll give a little extra here. Get our strands up here. We'll get it around our post here. Wrap it around. We'll use our pliers so we get a nice, neat twist here. Really get a nice, neat twist so it looks like factory work. There we go. Clean our tip again. We'll tin our iron. We heat our wire here. There we go. Just look at our solder joints one more time. Make sure everything's all nice. Okay, we still have a little spot right here, so I'm going to take a little solder on my iron here. Take some flux. We'll get it on here. We'll get it all over here so we get it nice and even. We'll heat the whole thing here. We'll get the whole terminal nice and wet. Now we have a nice clean full solder joint like that. Just let that cool a bit and we'll flip it back this way. We have a nice clean solder joint over here. So now we're ready to mount our fuse block onto our we'll put our back panel back on here. We'll tin our iron. Okay, we'll put our screws back in here. This one is our threaded one. So I'll make sure it goes in all the way here. This one goes into our this here. And these three go on here, here, here. Now we got to mount our fuse block. We can put it up here. We'll use our 632 screws. Put it into the back here. We put it on this hole right here. Right here. We'll put our washer on. Yeah, I am got to put it up here, so I have to just drill this hole a little bigger. That drill bit's absolutely worthless. I'm going to throw it right in the garbage. But you know what? I'm not going to complain about what I don't have. I'm going to be thankful for what I have. Put this on here. We'll make sure it's nice and tight, straight. Make sure it's on here straight. Make sure it's nice and tight. With that there, I'll bring the camera down and show you up close. If you look at the two house fuses, the 15 and the 20 amp, see how big the filaments are and see how small the filament is inside the fuse we put inside the stereo components? So I'll put this in here on the AC primary side, and I'll show you, see these capacitors here in this bridge rectifier and this voltage regulator and these capacitors around in here. If one of these short out, it could cause this power transformer to overheat and short out inside and draw much more current than what this line cord is rated for. This line cord is only rated for like 5 amps. So if it takes 20 amps to blow the house fuse or trip the circuit breaker, it can melt this wire and start a fire and also create a shock hazard. There you can see the soldering up close. You can see it was UL listed without any overcurrent protection in it.